Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video on the Tool Teardown channel. In today's video, 12V cordless polishers. Now this one is branded Sealy, but the Draper, Stormtrooper, Force, Thunderbirds, Ninja Turtles, whatever they're called, exactly the same, just in a different color. And I'll put on some images here and here and here and here and here and there and over there of all the other 12V cordless polishers, which are all exactly the same, all made by the same manufacturer. They're all manufactured, it doesn't say it on here, but they're all manufactured in China and then imported, in this case, into the UK by this company called Sealy. They're a big tool company, for those of you who don't know, who sell anything like workshop tools, hand tools, car related, automotive related primarily. And they also have a lineup of different power tools, 18 volts, I believe, 20 volts, and then 12 volt. This is compatible in terms of its batteries, very similar to, for instance, the Makita batteries, you know, the one that we looked at not so long ago, the 10 volt, 10.8 volt, you know, they're all very similar in terms of the battery systems. The only thing is that the shape here, which makes them unique to whatever the tool, you know, just don't fit because of the shape. So it's, yeah, this one is compatible with the ratchets that we looked at a while ago on this channel as well. I wouldn't make this particularly about the Sealy brand, although this says Sealy on it, but like I said, the Draper, which is another UK based tool company that makes tools primarily focused around the automotive industry, car mechanics, etc. So if you're interested in one of them, then it's going to be identical on the inside. If you're considering one of the other many options that are out there with all these other funky colours and very funky names, then stay tuned, because we'll take this apart and have a look, see what this looks like on the inside, and if it's worth you around about £30 sterling, or what is it, 30 euros, or I'll probably be about $30 as well in the US, if you wanted to purchase one of these. You know, and these are tailored for the home DIY. If you are a professional detailer, then you probably don't want to bother with these. They're not random orbital, so they just do one sort of circular motion. They don't do the random oval shaped patterns. Comes with 2 speeds. On the top there, slow and fast, and then you can control it with the trigger in terms of how fast you want it to go. Comes with a handy handle which can be unscrewed, and you could also put that on the other side if you are left-handed and you want to do it that way, or if you're working in areas where the handle would be in the way. You can also use it without the handle. It's quite powerful though, so be mindful of that. Comes with a handy lock there to undo the working end, so you could put smaller attachment, bigger attachments on it. While we've got this in our hand, it's a plastic, there's no markings on here, plastic with like an epoxy hard resin base underneath, and then the outside is like an EPDM. It's like a soft rubber with a velcro backing plate on which you can install one of many attachments or accessories that come with whatever brand you order it with. This device came with this one is a soft sponge type of arrangement for like a finishing polish, a hard sort of compound cutting compound polishing pad, which it's got the chunks missing. I was polishing up some glass, basically some light shades, because they came with this coating on them and I wanted to polish that off, but because the light shades were a bit rough on the edges, I removed all the trim around them. The glass basically just chewed away at my sponge, so yeah. But and then you get the old sheep wool yeah, whatever it is, fluffy cloth stuff. I mean, if you're into proper DIY car valeting, detailing stuff, then this is probably no use to you whatsoever. You can buy the proper microfiber polishing discs and stuff, they'll fit on here, same sort of sizes. Just a microfiber cutting disc. It's an old one there. They fit on here perfectly. So if you were wanting to use it with that, it works fine. Yeah, then obviously the tool itself, you can either buy it with a charger and a battery. There's options available depending on what brand and what company you buy it from, what online store. You can also buy the solo tool, which just comes like this. As you can see, I use it a bit, so don't mind the scratches. It doesn't come like that, pretty damaged when you get it out of the box, but you can see there's like bits missing, inserts, as if they put a label or a sticker or something in there. So yeah, that's basically the bare tool. It doesn't have a forwards or backwards, so it's literally a polisher. It goes one way, so it comes with a lock, so as a safety thing here, you can see already if you pull the trigger a little bit aggressively one way, then it bends all the way out of shape, so that's something that we'll have a look at in more detail. Aluminium head, which feels nice and sturdy. A nicely encaged bearing on this side. Let's have a look inside, shall we? Got a trusty impact driver. By the way, a 6-month review video will be coming up soon. We started off this channel by looking at the inside of this. As you can see, it's been used and abused for the last 6 months. I've done quite a lot of DIY home renovation work with this baby, so let's, for fun, for giggles, take it apart after 6 months and see if we can see any obvious wear, tear and other issues. You can already see the wear on the trigger here. It's quite interesting, but anyway, I won't spoil it, so stay tuned for that. Oh, these are not very tight in there. They fall out almost. Now this is a budget tool, so don't get your hopes up in terms of enormous amount of greatness on the inside of this. But for the occasional, like I said, if you're into detailing and you're doing a bit of an occasional, stuff and you don't want to spend millions on Rupes polishers and all the fancy stuff, then you might want to consider one of these for the odd. It comes with the little metal clips there, as we've seen before. There we go. Don't lose them, because that'll hold the clamshell together and it'll be never the same again after that. Right, there we have it. The little 12V cordless polisher in all its glory. So, this is PA6 with a TPE overmolding. It doesn't say it's got glass fibre in it. It does sound like it's got glass fibre in it. They just forgot to put it on the actual inscription there. LCP 699-2. It's got lots of reworks marks. So it's not a very high quality tool this plastic piece is coming out of. So injection molding tool that they use in this big machine, this injection molding machine. You can see there's been lots of reworks done, filing marks. Well, there, some scratches that they had in the original tool. There's some bits there. So yeah, again, it's a budget tool. And like I said, there's this aperture here, which they can slide something into. A branding feature, whatever. And then this is your internals, a trigger switch with a safety lock. Just a very simple one-piece PA6 plastic safety toggle. The battery terminals, very small. You can see the wear and tear on them. Yeah. And then the little peg on the side there, which grabs into one of these 2 points, which could be a temperature control thingy to make sure the battery doesn't get fried when you're polishing away. And then this is your motor. Let's get the switch out. And then this tiny little board here is your charge indicator. So it's got the 3 little LEDs on there, which shine through the little holes in there, which basically light up this little battery there. So let's have a quick look at how well the clamps fit together. Yeah, you can see the overmolding, the grates on there. It's a budget tool. It's not the prettiest. Very sharp on some of the edges here. So yeah, it fits together alright though. I mean, they use quite a lot of the cheating pins to make it fit better. You know, the little pegs to make them align into the opposite clam. You can see there. So yeah, there's little cheaters there to make sure that, you know, the screw holes alone and the shape of it, you know, make it not slot together that nicely. So they use those little additions to make it work a little bit better. But yeah, both sides PA6 with a TPE overmolding, which is the black stuff. Tool grade, so can't really say anything about the materials used other than that the execution could be improved somewhat. Having a look at the electronics, let's zoom in a little bit. Whoop! There we go. As I said, the battery terminal, which you can see has got tiny little spades, which, yeah. And then this thingy, whatever it is, on the end there. So these 2 pegs go into the positive and the negative of the battery, and then this one catches on the edge there, which I think is a temperature related feature as such. Yeah, trigger switch, like I said, it's very flimsy. It twists, it bends, so this will be not something that will last you a lifetime. The board for the battery charge indicator is plugged into the switch there, which is interesting. It's not soldered in, which is okay. The positive and the neutral for the battery, they go into the switch. There and there. Just soldered, no heat shrunk. The wires haven't got any coating on them, so they're just a cheap off-the-shelf wire. No safety regulation, no markings, etc. on there. A little heat sink, which is sort of screwed onto the switch. And then the switch itself, it's got some markings on there. It's upside down. Some markings of such, 20 amps, 14.4 volts DC. And that's about as good as it gets. There's no manufacturing details on there, so we don't know what it is. Yeah, a little electric motor, which the little sleeve sort of just slides about. An RS 550S 12 volt Liang YE motor, as it's branded. So this is an off-the-shelf little tool motor used in anything and everything. And 2-directional fan, although this tool only runs one way. It's a standard motor, off the shelf, nice and cheap. That goes 2 ways in a battery power drill, for instance, and it doesn't want to come out here, so let's undo the gearbox and see what's in there. So I just undid the screws. Oh, there's another one there. Oh, I should have known there's only 3 on the bench. It'd be an odd number to have 3 screws on the bench. There we go. There we are. That's the the gear reduction, sinter metal gears, nicely oiled, I must admit. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that too much. Yeah, and then this is basically your gear ring that changes from 1 into 2. So you got 1 and 2. Just like that. So it changes between the two gear sets. So it's either spinning that one directly or it takes this one with it. So the only thing that holds the whole tool together is the little circlip around the bearing here. Quite a bit of play on it, where you are, which will wear out eventually. 6902 2RS, so this is a standard size bearing, ball bearing, deep groove with the shields, the silicon rubberized shielding on both sides. Now I can't get the housing off the motor or the other way. I was hoping that it would just twist and turn out in place, but like with a lot of other tools, but I think there's metal pegs that actually are pressed into the housing to hold the whole lot together. That's the input shaft of the motor, so there won't be a lot of other stuff hidden in there. And the gears are of an okay quality. Interesting that they use like a triangular shape pattern to make them less accurate, so cheaper. Let's have a look to see if we can get this apart. Bit of a finicky job this, because it hasn't got like eyelets, so you can't use your standard circlip pliers to undo this. This is just a little spring ring almost, which so that's just a little oil seal, an old ring that lives inside the gearbox, basically on this end to stop the gear oil from being pushed out too much, so they don't have to use seals. It's cheaper and easier because it doesn't have to be a perfectly sealing surface. It's just like a splash, and this is a little ring that they push onto this square shaft. So it looks like oh, there we go, I was about to say, another little ring there to stop it from pushing. So this is a bearing here, small one. It's a 6900Z. So this is just a standard bearing without any seals on it, which is why that little dust ring is in there, just to stop the oil from being pushed out. Well, just a little tap with a hammer. That's the shaft. And then you can see in there, in there you can see the little the peg that slots into this hole. I thought the shaft was just going to be flat all the way through, but it's actually got a hole drilled through, which that peg locks into place, which means you can do and undo your tool attachments there. So let's see, is this hardened? No, not hardened metal, so it's just a normal machined. You can see the machining marks on the end there. It's just got some darkenings on there because of the rate of machining that they machine these tools at, or these parts at, sorry, is so high that they got some blackening with the oil that they use to cool the tool down. So that's why that's got a slight colour, gives you that hint of hardened steel, but it isn't. And then, as I said, an aluminium housing which looks like it's painted on the outside because it's quite dark. It's not a very pretty casting, so it's a die cast aluminium because you can see all the grate still there. So they don't really sand this or polish this, and then they just press two bearings in here. So yeah, all in all, a very simple, straightforward tool, but then again, for like 30 odd pounds, euros or dollars, what do you expect? So to summarize, is a $30 euro pound sterling 12V cordless polisher, worth buying. I think I'll leave that up to you after you've seen the video. What I can say is that, you know, for your $30 you get okay parts, nothing to be shouting about in terms of its amazingness. It's okay. I mean, they obviously make it at a budget, so the finishing, the materials, the components used are very standard, off-the-shelf parts, nothing spectacular. Some standard bearings. The little shaft here, non-hardened metal, you could just file an edge on there as I just did, so it's just normal machine stuff. An unbranded switch, which, yeah, is a bit flimsy. And tiny little battery ports there. The connections aren't heat shrunk or anything, so yeah, corrosion could become a thing. Wires aren't coded, so there's no standards or safety related features there. The only heat shrunk that I just noticed are actually on the motor there. Oh, and my screws are all sticking to it at the same time because of the permanent magnets inside here. Yeah. Gearbox is okay, standard sort of centered parts, so it isn't bad, it's not great either. So for 30 quid you get what you pay for, really. Tool grade plastics used for the outside. Fits together okay, it does the job okay. So yeah, a 12V polisher. There you have it in all its glory. Thank you very much for watching. Consider subscribing if you're not already done. We're getting closer to our 500 subscriber mark. So we still got this bad boy to give away. So if you've not already watched the video of the Parkside tool and then you have a chance to win this, I'm going to give this away to any of our viewers who comment on the video as to why they would like to have this drill. Those viewers have to be subscribed to the channel as a little incentive to help grow the channel. You can win a drill as a thank you, and yeah, good luck. We'll do a separate announcement video on that when we get to that. Right. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button up there if you've not already done, and check out some of the other videos on the channel that we've been posting here for the last 6 months. And then we'll see you in one of my next videos. Take care, thank you, goodbye.